Welcome back. This is the second part of our podcast with Denise Frenette. And we're starting off with a really big topic, which is how do I love my father? Or for those of us who are listening to this, how do I love the person who is in addiction mode despite their addiction? So get ready, listen up. You're about to listen to some really powerful conversation that also leads to forgiveness. How do we navigate in the midst of all of this? Can you say a little bit about what forgiveness actually is? Because I think there are so many misperceptions about it.
So again, I can't remember where I read this. I don't read a lot because I work, I'm busy, whatever. And I get frustrated. And I remember I read more now, but still, I was reading something about the love of forgiveness, and every freaking time, blah, 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 and every time I read the word, felt like saying, "Oh, F off." Like, no, I'm not going to forgive because it's wrong, because what happened was wrong. Okay. And every single time I thought of this forgiveness thing, it would piss me off because I always thought that forgiveness meant it was okay.
And what happened was okay.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do. It's actually forgiveness really makes it not okay. Like the process of forgiving is really understanding that it was wrong and hurtful. And for me to see that and to recognize that in the same, again, the importance is it's not just about what was wrong. I think forgiveness in its whole, because it's so complex. Forgiveness is personal to everybody, and it's complex, and it cannot be defined in a phrase. But I think when you can digest things better, and I say emotionally digest things better, is when you can recognize that and humanize the individual that did the wrong. Understand that they were a child at one point too. Understand that they didn't receive what was needed. And if we're able to fully kind of understand that it wasn't meant maybe to be that personal, it's that personal, but if there's a dysfunction there, then it really doesn't matter. Something is broken, dysfunction, whatever it is, and you're in its way. Well, you're going to get hurt. Anybody that's in that space will experience that dysfunction. And so it partly isn't personal because it wasn't meant to be mine.
You didn't create it. You just happened to be on the stage. And I think, Don Miguel Ruiz.
The end of it.
Yeah, I love Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, because one of the four agreements is nothing's personal. And that's one that I grabbed a hold of years ago. And it has served me so well we tend to think very like we cause these things. And when we're children, of course, we think we're the cause of everything. But we don't have that kind of power. And so, we happen to be on the stage or in the vicinity of somebody who's dealing with addiction or alcoholism or, all of these things. And we can face the consequences of being in their range, but we're not causing it. And they're only doing it to us because we're in their vicinity. And so that is a really powerful distinction. And the other piece to this, too, in terms of forgiveness, is that we don't forgive somebody for them. We forgive them for us.
For us. And again, I'd heard that before, and I just didn't get it till the day, at one point after he had passed, I missed him. And I remember sitting alone, and I started crying. And it's still like, and I do miss him. And I miss what I didn't get from him. What I would have wanted, right? And I wanted to allow myself to miss him. And the only way I could is when I forgave, when I allowed myself to say, he was hurt. He was hurt. Wow. Just like I am. he was hurt.
Mhm.
Like, wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. And when I
Yeah.
held that space where I wanted to have compassion for him, that compassion, not for the act, not for that,
Mhm.
but for
Right.
the hurt
Mhm.
that he experienced. And again, it wasn't easy,
No.
and it was
Yeah.
foreign to me
Mhm. Mhm.
emotionally. But
Mhm.
something said, Denise, you need to allow this, that compassion. That's kind of hard sometimes to be compassionate towards something that hurts you or someone. But that, to me, set me free.
Yeah, and that's the breaking of the
Yes,
inherited trauma.
exactly. And that's when we invite understanding and grace. And
Mhm.
to me, that is it. It's understanding that, because you can't move forward unless you understand.
Mhm.
You can't. You're just going to repeat. Okay. And you're going to hit your head on the wall until you realize, oh, wait a minute. If I turn and go through here, I won't hit the wall. So if
Yes.
you shift, okay,
Yeah.
and if you
Yeah.
allow that to happen, yeah.
Yeah, and this is all the journey of being a human, and our audience is going to hear this in different ways. I do think, part of the gift of this conversation is to get really clear that if you are really pissed off and you are really angry at your addict, staying there is never going to serve you. And so ask the question, like Denise did, relative to, okay, what is the sadness that I'm experiencing here?
Because you had to go through that
Absolutely. Yep.
with your son.
For sure. I mean, there were so many experiences where it shattered the dreams I had for him, the life I thought he would live. And so going through 12 rehabs and 11 disappointments, like, yeah. And so, but I wasn't willing to allow the roller coaster ride of that to take me out.
Yeah. So did you find that hard to move forward when he wasn't? Because I know, John, like to continue to allow yourself to experience beauty, experience love, experience growth, and whatever it is, to love
Mm-hmm.
life, to experience while someone you love
Mm-hmm.
is hurting. I struggled with that. And
Right.
I now understand that you could have both.
Yes, yes. We tend to think that, well, as long as they're suffering and they're in danger, they could die, which is the big thing I think that hangs over all of us as parents, that we're not allowed to laugh. We're not allowed to feel joy. I mean, I just had a conversation with one of my dear friends who lost his son 6 years ago. And so he hasn't allowed himself to feel joy yet again, 6 years later. And so I was somehow determined to still be able to love my life and love the work that I do and love my spouse and love my friends.
Without
And I,
feeling guilty.
correct. Yes, absolutely. I was giving myself permission to be fully who I am and experience the heartbreak of watching my son suffer through this disease and living with the unknown of how was this going to play out for him?
Out. Yeah.
Yeah. Would he die? Would he ever get clean and sober? What, all of the things that you quote worry about, which again is making shit up. So I just kind of kept on the track of that isn't serving me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to serve my life and what I bring to the planet, so to speak, while going through this experience. And so I was willing to share my experience because it freed me.
That's right.
And my experience was similar to yours. Was I discovered that number one, 150 million people in the United States alone love somebody who's dealing with addiction. You look on the right or the left, you're looking at somebody.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's horrible that this is happening and we are not finding enough solutions, enough. It's unbelievable. It blows my mind. And it's still hidden. And it's still hidden.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, kind of coming back to the conversation we had originally before we did the podcast was you weren't willing to tell your dad's story.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
because it was a betrayal.
Absolutely. Yes. And so just, and you talked about, I did a post just yesterday or anyway, about a question that I was asked. How can you betray your father like this? His memory. And it came from someone close to me. And for that split second, I'm like, oh, like, wow. Just the question I felt was an assault, right? Like, oof. And
Yeah.
I caught myself for a split second going into an old way of thinking, of shame. For that split second, wow. And that's how powerful habits are, emotional habits,
Right.
powerful. And I
Right.
had to right away say, hey. And so another thing that really helped is literally, I mean, the way the universe works sometimes, I got a message, a private message from a woman who lived in the same city to which where I grew up, okay, and who knew my family.
Sure.
And she goes, oh my God, Denise, thank you so much. I looked at you and your family, and I wanted this so badly because her life wasn't perfect. Her family wasn't perfect. And now she's reading this and she's thinking, oh my God, I'm so happy that you weren't perfect. And I love the way she said it. She's so happy that behind closed doors, we were getting, anyway, so, and it occurred to me, wow, we never know what people are going through. And so by shutting up, it doesn't fix anything. And my purpose is not to shame my father. My purpose is to respect him, to actually see all aspects of him. That's
Well,
what it's about.
I do think that question kind of lifts the veil of there's so much judgment around addiction, alcoholism, so on and so forth.
Yes.
And so you would never ask that question if he had had cancer or if he had had, kidney disease. Exactly. So there's a moral overlay
with mental illness, with addiction.
Yes, embedded in that kind of question.
Exactly. And so when I no longer wanted to view my father as someone wrong, like that's it. So why hide it? Because he has beautiful accomplishments and he did have moments, a lot of moments of laughter and all the piggyback rides that he gave me when I was a little girl and what. Now, was there dysfunction, unfortunately, that taints part of that? Yes, absolutely. But it doesn't taint it all. That is not his full picture.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
And I don't want it to be just that. And I don't only want it to be the version from the outside either, because that is not the real version. That is false.
Yes.
That is false.
Yeah. And Brene Brown talks about this is, look, if you go into any household around in your neighborhood, everybody has shit going on,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so the appearances are not what matters here.
No. And I think it's important for us to have these conversations so that when we fuck up, it's okay now. And it allows us to hopefully seek help, seek answers. And it's okay to fuck up. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay for some people to have these strengths. Okay. My father had amazing qualities and he excelled perfect. And in other areas, he really did not excel. That's okay. Now, if it was more acceptable to understand that this is human, the way that we are created, we're not meant to be perfect and we are meant to help each other. We are meant. We all have our
Yes.
different strengths,
Right.
period. And we are meant to live together as a beautiful community and find solutions. And when things aren't right, then we are meant to come together, not in a judgmental, horrible, non-forgiving way, but in a curiosity, with a curiosity of saying, okay, why is this happening? And how can we change it?
Yeah. And I have a different question that I add kind of to that. It's like it's the difference between it's happening to me or it's happening for me.
Okay. Yes.
And I think about things that's happening for me. And so one of the reasons I was able to do what I was doing in the midst of Sam's addiction was because I took it as, okay, I got cracked wide open. How is this going to serve me? And I got cracked wide open right again. And okay, how is this going to serve me? This is showing up for me, it's not happening to me. And that is a mental mindset that serves me really well. So I don't get stuck in the victimhood of all of this. And I remember one of Sam's relapses, one of my friends said to me, doesn't he know how much this is hurting you? And I was like, well, he's not doing this to me.
Yeah.
You know, this is a journey he's on that he's suffering through.
Yes.
And so so I'm going to take this and use it as fuel for understanding myself and others.
And the ability to do that is when I believe, and I would think, is when you step out of anger. Because I think when you're still in the anger mode, it doesn't allow for that freedom to say, what can I do with this? How can this possibly serve me in some way or serve others? I believe that when you're still in because the grieving mode or the anger mode, there's processes that do need to happen to be able to allow yourself to ask that question. How can this serve me?
Yes. Right? And I mean, honestly, I don't remember lots of moments of anger. I remember lots of moments of sadness.
Okay.
And that cracked me open to ask those questions because I didn't want to just stay in the sadness like you talked about. You're tired of crying. Okay. Well, so then how is this actually serving my own journey as a human? And what can I learn from this on my own journey? And it's breaking the mommy code, that's for sure. You know, my job is not to fix him, control him, make him well, all of those things. He was an adult at this point.
Yes.
So
and as a parent, that's tough.
Yes, it is.
To step back like that. Oh gosh. And not want to try to fix it, it's very, like, you can be there, of course, but there's that fine line of being there as a supportive ear, as a whatever, and trying to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's different when you have an adult child.
Oh, of course. Yes.
You know, that there's a different dynamic there. So we've covered a lot of ground today. That I'm super thankful for. I really appreciate the thoughtfulness in your articulating like the book and getting stuck and wrestling with the journey of telling your story, your dad's part of your story, and then understanding that he's not just his addiction. He's more than that. And that you can love somebody that is an addiction with boundaries.
Yes, very much so, with boundaries.
Yeah.
That is essential. The only way you can move forward is with boundaries, healthy boundaries, and allowing that space, allowing yourself to separate yourself if need be. Because if you are in a situation that is unhealthy, it is important if you want to heal from it, you do have to step back from that. Healing while in it is very difficult and challenging. Yeah. So boundaries, again, that's a whole other topic of how challenging it could be to do what is right for you. If you haven't been taught to do that in a healthy way, then having to do that, wow, it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it takes courage and it takes intention and it takes work. And that's the message to our audience today, is that none of this is easy. However, we do have stories of hope. We do have stories of rising and transcending the trauma that we've experienced.
What could choose and choice to. There are options, and it does lead to something very beautiful.
Yeah, and Viktor Frankl talks about it in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, the space that resides between stimulus and response. That space is where choice resides.
100%. 100%.
And that's what you and I have both done thousands of times in our journey.
Over and over and over again.
Yes.
And the more we do it, okay, the more clarity we get. The more you practice something, the more clarity. And it does get easier. You actually see the results from that. And so, again, it's a question of habit. It's a question of choice. And the more you do it, the more you see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And so I would always tell people, don't give up. Don't stop questioning. There are different ways of experiencing life. There are solutions out there. And if they are not in your range of vision, for God's sakes, turn.
Yeah, keep looking.
Yes, turn and get out of whatever it is that where your limitations are. And by all means, please have that curiosity. And even if it is fueled by anger and frustration, good, then utilize that and shift and start looking elsewhere.
Yes.
There are solutions out there. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. And so I was reminded, I was telling this to one of my CEOs yesterday. When I was a kid growing up, I realized I was in massive dysfunction. But I didn't have like a view of another way. And so I remember going to the library as a 10 and 11-year-old and getting, at that time, autobiographies. And at that time, they were just like football players or generals or something along those lines. But it was a different person's story that gave me the notion that these possibilities existed. It being healthier, that other people didn't live this life, that there actually was hope that resided in other people's stories. And so that's, out of this conversation, is my encouragement to everyone that's listening is continue to look for other stories that move you in the direction of what you're trying to create in your life, because they do exist.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to have the courage to do that. And again, we hear this all the time, because you're not alone. And
No.
you really, really aren't. And I remember feeling so alone and worried and scared. And man, the more I shared with the intention of doing good, the more I shared with a curiosity of finding solutions, the more I saw, whoa, this is happening everywhere.
Right.
It really, really is. And it isn't exclusive to me.
No.
Not even close. And that in itself was comfort.
Absolutely. We isolate ourselves up with this notion of we're the only one. And it's a lie. And so if we can be curious, we discover that it's a lie, and that there are hundreds of millions of people that love someone who's dealing with addiction. And we have all these different kinds of ways of doing it, and our own little journeys of how we get to our own healing, our own forgiveness, our own transcending and including this experience in creating the life that we want to create. And so keep looking, keep listening for those stories of hope and possibilities and the journey of, as we said, breaking the generational cycles of shame, inherited trauma, and the stories of forgiveness. And so I just want to say thank you so much for the gift of this conversation today. And so how can people get a hold of you if they want to reach out, and how can they get your book?
Well, you could just literally Google my name, Denise Frenette. My website is my name, denisefrenette.com. Google more, go on Amazon. It's on sale. And I think it's still half price. They haven't changed it yet. That was the promo,
Okay.
which is
Right.
fine. They could literally just go onto Amazon or the website for Indigo, and it's on there. Absolutely. And the link is on my website as well with all the information. So again, it's really just my name, denisefrenette.com.
Right.
And all the information is there. I want to thank you so much, by the way. What you're doing is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
And having a platform for voices to be heard, for people, just to, again, find more solutions and understand that there are other people out there going through this, and it's okay to talk about it.
Yes.
So personally, I want to thank you for allowing my voice to be part of this, a part of your journey. And it's humbling, and I'm very grateful.
Absolutely. So thank you. And to all those who have listened to this podcast today, this may be one you want to listen to a couple times, because it has a lot of rich, deep, I think, wisdom embedded in it. So keep aspiring to thrive. Until next time, take care.
Thank you. Thank you.